What is that, Waffle Gang? My name is Mark, and today, I'm never going to get used to that, and today we're covering some r/am I the butthole. If you want to skip that initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. Yesterday, over on Patreon, we had a new member. We had Melissa S. Thank you so much for your support, and for everyone for coming here and taking the time out of your days to come here and support the channel. It is crazy. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling my brother he got exactly what he deserved when he pushed his girlfriend away for being a gold digger? My brother is a very hard-working man. At 27, he is now very wealthy and doing well for himself. He's been with this girl for 6 months, and throughout the time, we've gotten close because we both like hair, makeup and shopping. I never knew there was anything wrong with their relationship, except when she texted me last week saying she would love to hang out but thinks it would be inappropriate because her and my brother broke up. I asked her why, and she said she was sick and tired of his auditioning to prove she was with him for the right reasons. She went on to say that my brother is paranoid, she's after his money, so he would test her like, number 1, leaving out his bank statements on their bed and getting upset when she picked it up, 2, going out to eat at high-end restaurants he requested and leaving his money at home on purpose to make her pay the bill and prove she's not going out with him for the money, 3, never buying her gifts and question her when she asked why he doesn't. I was shocked, so I had to hear my brother's perspective. We spoke and he told me everything she said was true, and there's nothing wrong with making sure his girlfriend is with him for the right reasons. He said he left his bank statements on the bed and was peeking through the door to see if she would be curious, and when he saw her pick up the papers, he knew in his gut she was using him for his money. So he set up the restaurant idea to see if she would get upset paying a $500 bill, which she was. I asked him if he thinks her being an elementary school teacher could have contributed to her being upset at a $500 bill at a restaurant he wanted to go to, and he said no. He said the straw that broke was when she asked him why he hasn't bought her a single gift since they started dating, when she bought him a gaming console and new rims for his car, and he knew she was just discreetly asking him to buy her an expensive gift. He confronted her and said he thinks she's with him for his money, so she said, "Let me do us both a favour," and dumped him and blocked him. He's upset about the gold digging bitch, and when I laughed he called me an arsehole. He said I would never understand what it's like being a rich man and being used, and I get that concern, but I told him if he thinks any woman would be okay with his tests and auditions, he's delusional as hell. If he doesn't want to be used for his money, he should start dating people wealthy as him, or leave lower income people alone if he's not going to be genuine in his relationships unless they pass his test. No, you're not the arsehole for telling your brother that. I think he needs to hear that. Whether he will listen or not is another thing. I mean, testing people in your own relationship, it just screams you don't trust them, so what is the point in being in it, right? And how long does this test go on for? Because this could last indefinitely, surely. At some point, she's gonna expect you to pay for a restaurant. If she's paying for like $500 bill, she's gonna expect you to reciprocate that sort of gesture, and then you're still going to turn around and call her a gold digger, so she can't win. Of course she's going to dump you for that. And she's buying him gifts of like gaming consoles and rims for his car. I mean, come on, man. I think he totally got what he deserved in this story, but let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Veritas Man says, "Not the arsehole. Sound like you told your brother the truth. He sounds immature and testing a partner never turns out well." OP replied, "He said it's impossible to find a woman as wealthy as him, so he's forced to date middle and lower class women, so he's going to continue his tests. I told him he should go to therapy, and he said I'm crazy." And he could just get like a prenuptial agreement to sort this whole thing out. But yeah. Comrade 1984 says, "Only arsehole here is the brother. Also, where does she teach that can afford game consoles, rims, and $500 dinners? Clearly she's responsible with her money, something you think the brother would appreciate, if he weren't such a shallow arsehat." And OP replies again saying, "She told me she dipped into her savings for all that and not her salary, which is sad because she still has student loans and credit cards she's paying off." Kiona says, "Not the arsehole. It kind of sounds like he's a gold digger, to be honest. Testing her would be taking her out to eat and getting separate tabs, not making her pay for everything, and leaving his bank statements on the bed and getting pissy that she looks. Hello, everyone looks at papers just left on their bed. Heck, all of the reactions are normal and he's just acting like a brat." Your little birdie says, not the arsehole, he sounds awful. I can't imagine why anyone would want to be with him with that terrible personality. I'm going to treat women I date like garbage, and if they break up with me, I'll know it's because they wanted my money. What? Now, what would you do in this situation? Have you ever been in a similar relationship before? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for exposing a guy to clear my name? So pre-lockdown I got a promotion and went out with my friends to celebrate. I'm not a really spontaneous person, but that night I went a little wild, got a little too drunk, was dancing and ended up making out with some guy at the bar before I left. It wasn't a big deal, I woke up the next morning, my friends joked about it and we all moved on. Cut to last week, my oldest sister says we're finally going to meet her boyfriend. I knew she had been dating someone, just not who he was or how long, hadn't seen the dude or anything. My sister is uber cautious about bringing her boyfriends over, because they've all been kind of pieces of work, but she's really excited about this guy. He's sweet, attentive, in the military, on a good path, etc. Yeah, so dude walks in and I instantly recognise him as bar makeout guy. At the time I didn't know how long they'd been dating, so I dumbly assumed that this was probably before he met my sister. Neither of us acknowledged the elephant in the room and things are a little tense, but whatever. Then the shit hits the fan. Our dad asks us how long they've been together. My sister says a 1.5 years. So yes, he was dating my sister, seemingly exclusively, when we made out at the bar. I immediately throw this dude under the bus and call him out. My sister loses it, my dad is less than pleased. More that I was drunk and made out with a stranger, which is fair to be honest, not my finest moment. The night basically ends with them splitting up in front of everyone and him storming out and leaving my sister crying. My sister isn't mad at me luckily. She knows I didn't know obviously that the dude was her boyfriend, but due to the incident this was a very small dinner with only 5 of us. Now word gets around, and what got around is OP drunkenly made out with her sister's boyfriend, and no real explanation past that. So people kind of automatically assumed the worst, and I was constantly having to explain the situation over and over to family members, friends, etc. So after a few days of this, I got sick of it and made a public post on social media explaining the situation, exposing the dude. Didn't name him though, and cleared JT with my sister first, and basically clearing the air that I did not in fact knowingly try to steal my sister's boyfriend. It worked, everything got cleared up at once and I wasn't treated like a pariah anymore. He saw the post though, as I made it public, and he messaged me pissed and said I shouldn't have aired it all out, because people put 2 and 2 together and now a social circle found out and are coming down on him. Most of my family doesn't have an issue with a post. A few relatives have said it was a little much and that I should have kept it private, but they weren't saying that when they were gossiping about how I tried to steal my sister's boyfriend. So, am I the arsehole here? Edit to clear a few things up. I didn't go, well, you made out with me in January at the dinner table. Once I found out how long they'd been together, I sat on it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then my sister went to the kitchen to get another drink. I followed her and told her in the kitchen. My sister is emotional and started crying and yelling, understandably, and things got carried back into the dining room when they started arguing. I also 100% cleared the post with my sister. She proofread it and had final approval, as well as the veto power to have me remove the post at any time. She was getting contacted by people too, to gossip about how awful it is that your sister tried to get with your boyfriend, and she was struggling to deal with processing the breakup and simultaneously having to defend me on the daily and explain everything over and over again, so she gave me the green light to handle things. You know, at the dinner table, if you'd have probably sat on that for the whole dinner and then went to your sister after, she'd have probably called you out for not saying nothing at all during the whole dinner and just letting it carry on. So I think you did the right thing by going out into the back and talking to your sister and letting her know right there and then. And you know, of course, emotions are going to flow once that's happened. Once that gate has been opened, you know, they're all going to come out, and what happens happens in the end. It sounds like you have an awesome relationship with your sister for her to not accuse you immediately of doing a bad thing. And I think you did everything else right. You checked with your sister about putting the post on social media afterwards, and she was cool with it because she was sick of answering all the questions as well. I think you pretty much did everything right in this scenario, in my opinion. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Not Cleaver says, not the arsehole, he shouldn't have cheated on your sister. He reaped everything that he sowed, and your relationship with your sister sounds awesome. GB Heather says, not the arsehole, he's the one who had a girlfriend and made out with a random girl who just happened to be his girlfriend's sister. Yeah, just clear the air, and exposing the truth is not being an arsehole. He's just upset that people know he's a jerk. FSF says, not the arsehole, dude is an arsehole for many reasons. I don't see that you did anything wrong here. OP replies saying, a few relatives have told me it was a little unnecessary and overdramatic, but these are the same relatives who were totally fine with assuming I was some hoe stealing a sister's boyfriend. Malachi says, not the arsehole, if you don't want to be called a cheater, then don't cheat. And Avalon says, not the arsehole, he's the one who knew he was in a relationship and made out with someone else. He just got mad he got called out for it. It sucks to suck. Now, how would you handle this situation if you was that sister and you made out with someone at a bar and then you had dinner and then spotted him in the room with you and you knew he cheated? Would you approach it the same way? Would you call him out there and then? Would you wait till after the dinner? Or would you just completely let it slide? Let me know what you guys would do in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Vast Dimension. Am I the arsehole for not taking my stepdaughter with me and my son on a trip? Throwaway. My son has had a few rough years. My wife has passed and it was very hard on him. Before her passing, we had a yearly thing where we'd go to a local amusement park. It was sort of a father-son thing, and my wife often didn't come along. We did plenty of other activities together as a family, but that was our special little thing. With her passing and all, we didn't go the last 2 years, but during that time I met a woman with a stepdaughter. For reference, my son is 10 and the daughter is 8. At first the new relationship was especially hard on my son. I always assured him that his mother will never be replaced, but to think of it as an extended family. I wanted to include my son as much as possible, and I had a great idea of continuing our annual trips to the amusement park together to bring back some normalcy. Fortunately, it opened back up in limited capacity and I was able to get tickets. When my stepdaughter heard we were going to the park, she begged to come along, but I told her it was a father-son thing and we could always do something else together as a family later on. She cried and went through all the usual temper tantrums like, it's not fair. My wife yelled at me and told me to include her. She has to work so she can't come along. I think my wife is being totally unreasonable. This is just a way to bond with my son and is something he expressly wants to do together without his stepsister. Now obviously my son is my blood and I will definitely prioritise him over my stepdaughter, but I don't see the big deal in doing this with my son and spending time with my stepdaughter later on. Now when I was reading this I was going, yeah, it's something he had before his late wife passed away, so I was going to say like, yeah, you're definitely not the arsehole in the situation, because I don't think there's anything wrong with a bit of father-son time, and and you can have some time with a stepdaughter later on. That makes total sense to me. You can do things separately and have that little bit of bonding time together. As a family it can be a bit chaotic sometimes, so these separate things sometimes do work quite well. But then at the very end you lost it, man. You lost it at the end when you said, now obviously my son is my blood and I will definitely prioritise him over my stepdaughter. And that hit me right in the feels. And some of the comments you made about her saying it's not fair and all the usual temper tantrums. And again, I'm probably just reaching here. It doesn't sound like you had the greatest relationship with her anyway. But I'm just throwing that one out there. I might be totally wrong. And I wonder what would happen if you turned around to your current wife and said, I prioritise my son over your daughter. I wonder what would happen then. I don't think your wife would be too happy that you'd be saying that. And these are just my views, and if I was to take on like a stepdaughter or stepson or just any other family member, I would consider them my own. I think I would love them just as much. Obviously I can't guarantee because I'm not there, but in my heart I feel like I would love them just like a biological son or daughter. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. My fickle mind says, in quotes, now obviously my son is my blood and I would definitely prioritise him over my stepdaughter. And then says, and there's your problem. That's not how blended families work. You're the arsehole. Princessity says, you're the arsehole. I was going to say not the arsehole because you said it was a father-son thing before new wifey and daughter came along. But you're the arsehole for saying you're going to put your blood over your stepdaughter. Why'd you marry her mother if you were going to treat her unfairly to your son? How would you feel if your wife did the same and excluded your son from her family because he isn't her blood? Fix yourself or your wife will prioritise her blood and rightfully leave you. Fleagle says not the arsehole for wanting to have father-son time. You're the arsehole for expecting an 8-year-old to see her brother go to an amusement park and be totally okay with not going along. Too true. Mind Control Manatee says, holy fucking crap, man. You're not the arsehole for wanting to continue and preserve a tradition/routine with your son. But I'm going to tell you exactly where you're awful. And quotes, now obviously my son is blood and I will definitely prioritise him over my stepdaughter. and says you shouldn't have married a woman with a child if you weren't prepared to see the children as equal. Like it or not, they are both your children now, and one shouldn't be less than. You also called her a real fucking brat in the comments. Yeah man, that's an 8-year-old child that's been refused a trip to an amusement park. Of course she's distraught. She doesn't understand father-son bonding and tradition. You don't have to be a child development expert to understand her reaction is pretty normal for her age. I also hope this is highly situational occurrence and you aren't going to make a habit to exclude her at your son's every whim. If you didn't guess yet, you're the arsehole, not for not taking her, but for your entire outlook. Now, how do you feel about this story? Imagine being the wife and finding out about OP and the way and his views towards the daughter. How would you feel? What would you do? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Throw Stopped Funding. Am I the asshole for cutting financially my sister off when I found out that I was the only sibling paying for her? I have 3 siblings. I am the eldest. My youngest sister is the only one of us who didn't attend college. She got pregnant and dropped out a few months into college. I live in another state and see them only a couple of times a year. I'm not really close to any of them. My sister fell deep into financial shit after the guy took off and the baby, B, had a ton of medical issues that she couldn't afford. In the end, she moved in with my parents. Me and the other siblings decided to pitch in some money each month to help the younger sister. At first they told me that since I earned the most, I should contribute more. I firmly said that I will contribute what everyone else is going to contribute. They agreed. It's been a year and recently my younger sister has reached out to me and said that she needed money urgently because B needed surgery next month. I was a little perplexed. B hasn't been to the hospital for the past 2 months and the money from those 2 months from us all should have been more than enough to cover the surgery. I kept pointing this out and asked her what happened to the money. She kept saying that money got used up. At this point, I told her that she was going to have to show me some bills, and she broke down saying that I'm the only one who was giving her money, and my parents / my other siblings asked her to keep that a secret from me. They decided that I'm the only one who should pay for everything because I earn more, and I am child free while the others are not. None of my siblings have kids, but they want to prepare for future. Well, I didn't have to, because I'm not going to have children. So for the past year, I'm the only one who has been helping. What's worse, every time she needed X amount of money, she would call me and tell me she needed 3 times the money, and tell that my siblings already paid their share. I was so pissed off when she confessed, I immediately hung up on her and refused to talk to any of them after that. This literally happened a few days ago. I haven't sent any money this month for the surgery. Everyone obviously thinks I'm an arsehole. I told my siblings that until they match what I have paid last year, they aren't going to see another cent from me. My siblings told me that they can't afford that much right now and begged me to continue paying, or at the very least pay for another year so everyone can figure something else out. I refused to. Am I the arsehole here? You know, the first thought that comes to my head after this story is the poor baby. What is going to happen with the poor baby without this surgery? And you know, it's just such an unfortunate situation, but the family has treated you like absolute crap in here. Like they've kept this behind your back and making you pay while they haven't paid anything. What kind of family is this? And although in some ways I kind of want to say pay for the surgery and be done with it, in other ways, you know, it's the principle of the thing now. I think they need to suck it up and they need to pay for this surgery. They need to find some way to deal with this. You know, you've done, as you said, more than your fair share, and you've been stabbed in the back by your own family. Yeah, I can't blame you. It's a real unfortunate situation, but I can't say you're the arsehole in this situation either. You know, I think they need to deal with this now. They've caused this. This is down to them. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Practical Heart says, not the arsehole. There are resources she could apply for. The entire family except for you are the arsehole. Throwaway says, not the arsehole. Clearly they were running a game on you. That's really quite shitty of your family. I understand the baby has medical issues. Maybe that's a part of the issue here. But why wouldn't you pay for a nanny so she could go to work? Your whole family is creating an environment of dependency instead of helping your sister grow. One day your sister won't have a baby to take care of anymore, and she won't have any work experience either. If you give her another $1, let it be for childcare and let her figure out everything else on her own. Alyssa says, not the arsehole. What the fuck is wrong with your entire family? Drift Ninja says, not the arsehole, period. They lie to you because you aren't having kids and earn more, and that's a really shitty thing to do. On top of that, they may have forced her into a corner because she actually needed the money. Stand your ground, do not budge until your siblings have paid an equal amount. And Killmonger says, it's a super unfortunate situation for the baby, but not the arsehole. Makaz says, not the arsehole, in your shoes I wouldn't talk to any of them for a very long time, and especially until they paid you back the money you sent that covered their portion as well. You don't owe them anything. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you think should happen in this situation? Do you think OP should contribute just to that surgery to help out? That was one thing that's going through my head because I just feel so sorry for this poor baby, but I totally understand too. Do you think she should completely cut ties with all of them until they paid back, or just totally go no contact anyway? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stories. If you have, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. I've really enjoyed the support you've been giving me just recently, obviously. And the whole Waffle Gang memes on Twitter is hilarious. You guys sending me memes of all these sort of things. Oh, I'm having an absolute blast right now, and it's all down to you guys. I couldn't do it without you. I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. And I will see you in the next one, guys. I hope you have a great day ahead of you. Much love to you, and see you then. Bye-bye.